Welcome back to Decadorks. I guess that's the one we're going with? We're the 12-sided guys. We have Pine, played by that incredibly handsome middle-aged man, Matt.
Hi.
Roos, voiced by Mr. Milk and Nature Valley, Scott.
That's me.
Ebby, played by the guy who tried and failed to explain NFTs to me, Jordan.
Salutations.
Nari, played by the person with the best-looking cosplay out of any of us, Sabrina.
Hey there.
And everybody else, played by the guy who was almost as handsome as Matt, Paul. We're twins.
I'm more the Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's more the Danny DeVito.
Oh, that's rough, dude.
That's a low blow. But
Danny DeVito is still working, so.
Oh, that's true. I mean, Arnold was just the governor of California.
So come on to California.
Arnold has freaking Chris Pratt as a son-in-law. Beat that.
Yeah, Chris Pratt kind of sucks, though.
Well, anyway, thanks for coming along with us on this adventure through Pavantis. If you want more info on the world like maps and wikis or some bonus content like Q&As, sometimes inappropriate outtakes or character sheets, then consider becoming a patron. But of course, rating us 5 stars and leaving a review online and with your loved ones helps us out a ton. And thank you to everyone that has already done it. But guys, this is it. If you've gotten sick of me talking about Fanix on September 22nd through 24th, 2022, then don't worry. This is the last time you'll hear about it until we recap it. But whatevs. Because Fanix is happening this week, if you're listening to us as soon as this comes out.
Yes, this week.
Be there or be square.
So come and meet us. Don't forget to hang out with us afterwards on Saturday night. We are so excited to meet you and, oddly enough, each other. Anyway, if you ever revisited previously liberated provinces all in an attempt to convince two-headed dogs and wyverns to join your army, then this podcast is for you. It's the Crystal Codex, episode 80.
That's what we need to do for Tabery. We need to start recruiting some two-headed dogs and wyverns for them.
Yes.
Nice.
You never sent any of your troops out walking over mountains looking for two-headed dogs and wyverns? Or the random Birdman?
What game was this?
Oh, this was Ogre Battle, my friend.
Oh. Okay.
You guys sound so disappointed. Oh, okay, there you go.
I rented it once from Fuzzies, which was the local video rental place in Plainwell, Michigan, and didn't know what I was doing as a little kid and got frustrated and stopped playing.
Yep, same here.
But they made Ogre Battle 64, which I have actually gone back and played as an adult. It is a great game. I got hooked into it hard. Sifting through the charred remains of what was once his vast manor house, the rich, heavyset man curses under his breath. While only a small section of the house is unsalvageable thanks to the quick response of the venerable Mona, smoke and ash has ruined countless symbols of his status. Carpets, paintings, clothing, musical instruments, all destroyed. Azario, the young butler of Renato Pello, approaches cautiously, his calm expression belying the anxiety in the pit of his stomach. Opening his mouth to address his lord, Azario is preempted by Renato. Let me guess, just the one death, Stavrula in the basement. The only things missing are my deacons. Renato shatters a blackened vase on the ground, then spins to face his servant, his broad face etched with a dark look. He stabs a finger at Azario as commands angrily spit from his scowling jowls, but Azario already knows what will be expected of him. Find the fox-eared woman who has been harassing Renato and her new accomplices. Azario looks to his left at Mona, the elderly cook, resting on a stool. She meets his gaze, giving a slight nod. She knows what's coming too, he thinks. Their time playing cook and butler is over in favor of their more specialized skills, the true reason for which Renato paid their hefty wages. It was time to hunt. Their targets, Fox Ears, the Man of Menarest, the Red Giant June, Pranciful, if that is his real name, and their tarnished deacon. As Renato finished his tirade, Azario gives a slight bow and says, "It shall be as you wish, Master Pello."
Oh, snap.
Well, we're not done.
What? Okay. All right. I'll be quiet. I'll shut up. I see what you're saying.
To the northeast, at the center of his war camp, King Tenor seethes behind an elaborately carved table, draped in maps and documents. After 3 days of marching, the army has just left Montman Ravine behind as they make their way south towards Terran's Hill, then to Crossroads to rendezvous with the remainder of Arkelvy's forces. The deployment was all going according to plan, swimmingly in fact, all except for two very big problems. Grabbing a scroll from atop the table, Tenor studies it again, though there is no need seeing as he wrote these orders. An entire contingent of deacons, 55 in strength, and his 2 surviving bishops, commanded to be powered down and secured within the bowels of Mason's Keep, his stronghold in Arkelvy. The grinding of Tenor's teeth is audible to the Chamberlain standing just over his shoulder, her wrinkled face a mask of calm as her body tenses in anticipation of her sovereign's next move. Tenor lets the orders fall to the table, then violently scatters the table's contents with a sweep of his arm. After a beat, Tenor regains his composure. That problem is over and dealt with, at least for the time being. Arkelvy's military surely still dwarfs whatever paltry defenses Von Nett and Wayfield can muster. It will be a guaranteed victory with enough momentum to crush Kira and Tabury, even without the reinforcements of the deacons or the firepower of the bishops. Grasping his golden cup, Tenor speaks to his chamberlain without turning to look at her. Still no sign of Silas, you say? His voice straining with the effort to appear calm, but the chamberlain can tell explosive anger is imminent. Before she can answer, Tenor continues. If he can't be found, then I see 3 possible explanations why. 1, he's taken to ground and is hiding. 2, maybe he's dead. Either of those would be preferable to the third possibility. That one could ruin us. At last, Tenor turns to look at the chamberlain, the golden cup crushed in his grip. Wine, possibly mixed with his own blood, runs down his knuckles. If our enemies have him, if they can turn him, and if what he knows gets out, we could lose Terran's duchy and a third of our forces. Tenor hurls the mangled chunk of gold at the chamberlain's head, who, having predicted just such a tantrum, deftly ducks aside. Find him, Tenor bellows. No stone unturned. Scour the tunnels beneath the city, the basements, the dungeons, the catacombs, even the deepest unmapped places. Whatever it takes, whoever has to die, whatever needs to be done, find Silas. Welcome back to Pavantis, to the Crystal Codex. Last time we were together, there was quite the caper, a heist, if you will. Our party was split into 2. We had Roos and Ebby, both deacons, Ebby's always a deacon or an ormech, but Roos had taken the shape and the form of one as well, and they had infiltrated the rich man Renato Pello's manor in an effort to free his deacons, and there were 4 of them. It was a little bit of shenanigans as they kind of wandered around the manor pretending to be...
Zombie?
Yeah, they were kind of like zombies, I guess. But after a while, Ebby and Roos ended up down in the basement discovering where the deacons were being held, and they started to free them. But Stavrula, the guard of Renato Pello, sensing what was going on, came in and a fight ensued, and it was close to really, really bad for Ebby, as well as those deacons, those ormechs that had been freed. But after some of the ormechs were cut down, but then brought back to life by Ebby, and then some of them were grabbing Stavrula, and Ebby used a very well-placed heat metal spell to make Stavrula drop her sword. They took her down. And after freeing all of the ormechs, they left the manor house after Ebby decided to light it on fire. And that is where we left off.
Well, during that time, Pine and Nari were not doing nothing. I mean, they were talking and finding skipping rocks, and Pine got to use his red candle again.
Important things.
That's right. That's right.
The distraction that you guys did was the reason we were able to escape.
Oh, that's true. That is very true. Yes. And so with help from Pine and Nari on the outside, Ebby and Roos and these freed ormechs were able to get out of the house. It was lit on fire, and they managed to escape and rendezvous back on the Allele Eagle with the other freed ormechs, as well as their new ally, Dr. Sydney, the woman who used to run the facility where Ebby woke up.
The woman who gave me a furry fetish.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, Jordan, how does Ebby feel about our new quote-unquote ally?
So Dr. Sydney and Ebby have a bit of a complicated past in that she was the Imperial science researcher that was basically experimenting on the deacons when Ebby woke up. And if you'll recall from the episode 0 that was released a few weeks back, she even chucked a spear at him, tried to tackle him when he was leaving. So he had no fond feelings for her, and in fact tried to strangle her the moment he recognized who it was. But to kind of bring everybody up to speed, at least on the current sentiment, Ebby has reluctantly basically realized that she's been working hard to atone for some of her, kind of past ignorance, basically, and recognizes that she is acting differently. He hasn't it's not like he's fully embraced her in what she's doing now, but I think he's acknowledged that, it's not the same, and he's not going to actively seek her ill right now. But I don't know that he'll really trust her a whole lot.
Gotcha.
Well, very good. Well, we actually join Nari and the boys as they are aboard the Allele Eagle. And thanks to directions from Dr. Sydney herself, they are on their way to the old Ormech facility where Ebby, where he woke up. Now, Sydney had already informed you, and I don't know if you remember this from a couple episodes ago, but during the shattering, apparently the facility was covered by rock slides, avalanches, that kind of thing, and it is now currently buried under rubble.
Did I do that?
Oh my gosh. This is going to take me a while to come back from. Oh, Laura, my pet. Anyway.
Paula, can we turn this into a Family Matters podcast, please?
What happened to the second daughter? As far as Sydney informed you, the Scavengers have located the facility and have taken it over, looking for ancient tech and some of the Imperial kind of crystal tech and machinery that had been there before. So she is taking you now to the facility, and we join Nari and the boys aboard the beleaguered illegal Allele Eagle.
You did that in one go. Good job.
Solid, man.
Sure does feel good to be home.
That's the first time I've attempted that on the podcast, I think.
How long has passed since we left Pelos Manor in flames?
As far as walking here, it would take about 2 days, the better part of 2 days. And so you figure that's about, 40 miles or so. So flying, you guys can get there in about half a day. So you left probably pretty quickly after Pelos Manor caught on fire. And you can be there as early as basically the afternoon, if that's how you want to do this, or you can hang out and heal up and talk before you go over to the facility. That's kind of up to you.
I mean, I'm fine. I didn't use any spell slots. The only thing I can't do is cast daylight with my red candle anymore until I take another long rest. So I'm fine heading straight there.
I too, after doing such strenuous work, am fine to continue going.
I think I could use a rest. I mean, I burned some spell slots and took some damage, so.
Roosted as well.
Yeah, you guys got hit pretty hard. She was hitting you guys pretty hard until you guys made her drop her sword.
Yeah, she was.
Okay, we can take our time heading there.
Right. So do you guys want to try to get there like that night, or do you guys want to wait like basically a whole day and get there the next morning? It's up to you.
I mean, I think however long it takes us to get a long rest in so everybody's feeling good.
Yeah.
No point in dilly-dallying.
But I think, honestly, arriving a cover of night might actually be beneficial. We might not attract as much attention from the Scavengers.
Okay. So you guys are flying over trees and forest, and you can see the mountains kind of coming closer and closer as you continue to head west towards the Glass Mountains. Is there anything anybody wants to do as the sun starts to go down and the moon is up in the sky? Just a few clouds, but for the most part, a clear night.
This is as we're arriving, right?
Yeah, I mean, or as you are, an hour out or so. If you guys want to have any kind of conversations or anything.
I feel like Ebby's going to mostly be quiet and just kind of brooding to himself.
Pine will actually like to have a conversation with Dr. Sidney.
Okay.
Roos has something he wants to ask Nari as well.
Well, fine. Why don't you? You see Dr. Sidney standing at the gunnel, looking out over the forest and looking west towards the facility where she had spent so many years working her magics.
So, Dr. Sidney, you spent many years there working your magics.
I did.
What are some things we might expect to find there? What kind of technologies did you have there? What are some of the capabilities of this facility?
This facility, so the facility where I was working with the Deacon program, with the Ormechs, was actually an Imperial facility built over the top of an ancient ruin that we had found that was actually buried beneath the earth. So I worked more in the newer areas, the actual Imperial areas, but the Deacons and the Ormechs down below were they were brought up to us, where we would clean them and try to make sure that they were not damaged in any way, where we tried to power them on. So as far as the facility, I'm not sure how much of it is still intact, but there is a level where we actually did the work of trying to power on the Ormechs, and that is at the top. It's on the top floor of the facility. Below that, there were some offices, as well as a room where we would clean and repair any. Some of the Ormechs that we found were in worse shape than others, and so she kind of looks around to make sure Ebby's not nearby. She says, "So some of the Ormechs that seemed to be in worse shape were used for parts. An arm from this one to fit better onto this one that didn't take such a beating, that time hadn't ravaged so badly, and that was all done on the next floor down. There was an entry room, there were some offices, and then yes, that was basically where I was. As far as equipment and things, I don't think that much of what we had there as an Imperial facility still would be there in any kind of form that I would have known it, because I can guarantee you that any crystal tech that was left out, the Scavengers have already used for their own uses, or they have run off with them and sold them, whatever they do.
Okay, that all makes sense. You said that there was an ancient facility underneath the facility, the Imperial facility. How intact was that? Did you ever go down there?
I did go down there. Down there, let's see. There was a shaft that was. There was an ancient lift that we were able to utilize and actually go down hundreds and hundreds of feet below the earth, and there we found the remains of the facility. It was actually quite intact. What we saw, it was built to basically like a fortress to withstand anything that could be thrown at it. The awe-inspiring part of that facility, besides the vast vault full of ormechs, the most awe-inspiring thing was the machinery in the room right before the vault. It was amazing. Cogs and wheels, massive machinery lining the walls, still spinning, still grinding away perfectly with very little, if any, rust or stutter or hiccup. It just all moved in such synchronicity still. It was truly awe-inspiring.
Yeah, I really liked that Police album too. The synchronicity.
Okay. What's the main single off of that album?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Name 5 songs or you're not a real fan.
Roxanne!
Was that on Synchronicity too?
I have no clue. Spotify has ruined me for albums. I don't know. I just know what songs I like. But there was a machine. There was some sort of podium, some sort of contraption that ran some tech that was beyond my understanding. And the others who were of a similar skill, a similar rank in the Imperial research division as I was, they too could not figure it out. But again, I was not working on the ancient facility so much as working on the ancient beings that we found down there.
Okay, well, that all makes sense. I wonder if, it's Ebby's thing to share. But in Pine's mind, he's thinking maybe Niam might have an idea of what all that stuff would do if we were able to get down there. Well, thank you for sharing that. I had one more question for you. We've heard a rumor that there could have been a similar ancient facility underneath the very city of Almar. Have you heard anything of that?
Yes, and there is. In fact, if the Scavengers have not managed to break my lock on my office, I put an arcane lock on my office. I actually was not in the facility when the earth shattered. I was actually away in Almar. But I locked my office magically as best I could. If they have not managed to get into my office, I actually have a map in there that shows where the different facilities are. But if the Scavengers have managed to get into my office, then all bets are off.
I don't think it was Scavengers. I think it was JV team.
Well, that'd be legit.
Is nobody else freaking out right now?
That's amazing.
That would legit be amazing.
I mean, the key. They got the key. It was a key.
Yeah, but we don't have any connection to the JV team.
Not yet.
How are we going to do a crossover episode? I'm Hop and also Nari.
We'll have to see if that ever does happen. I guess Nari has to survive long enough to actually meet up with Hop.
All right, that's all I got.
Okay.
I think that's a threat.
Yeah, that made me very uncomfortable, Paul.
Well, good. I'm very good at making women uncomfortable.
That's all I got for Sydney.
Perfect. Okay. So, Roos, you wanted to talk to Nari as you guys are flying over these trees.
Yeah. So Roos will approach Nari. What would Nari be doing as we're flying?
I think Nari would primarily be kind of just watching over the new ormechs that we've acquired, making sure everybody's kind of getting settled in, making sure things go smoothly since she's feeling pretty good.
So Roos will approach her as she's overlooking the ormechs and say, I can't help but think of Tabery and Queen Kira and the war that's probably starting soon. I don't know, something... I guess I'm feeling doubtful that I made the right choice leaving. Who am I to assume that I am the type of person that could go and save the world instead of being there with my sister when she needs me? I'm just looking for some advice, some support on this, I guess, because you knew Kira well.
Nari will kind of put her hand on Roos's shoulder and say, I understand that feeling, but who are we to say that if we would have stayed behind in Tabery, we would have saved the city either? I think we have to go where our need is greatest. And I have full faith that Kira will be able to handle anything that comes at her.
I know, she's a tough lady. There's something else on my mind too that I don't really know how the right way to bring it up, but I feel like you're just as much my sister as she is. But if something ever happened and you two don't stay together, I just want you to know that it wouldn't affect my relationship with you.
I appreciate that. Obviously, Kira will always have a place in my heart. She's an amazing and wonderful person, but I agree, Roos. You and I, we've gone through so much. I think of you as far closer to a brother, maybe even more of a brother than than my own brothers.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I didn't really know Kira all that well. She left when I was pretty young, and I mean, I've always had an admiration for her, but I just don't know her as well personally as I do you. Anyway, I'm not trying to pry in on your relationship or whatever. If you're on a break, if you're off a break, that sort of thing, it's not my business. I just want you to know that we're still good, whatever happens.
I appreciate that. No, Kira made it pretty clear we are on a break. I miss her, and I respect her, and I love her immensely. But it changes nothing between you and me. I have only the highest respect for you.
Likewise.
I appreciate that, Ruth.
Yeah. Anytime.
Nari will kind of do a little double pat on his shoulder since he's a little bit smaller than her.
A lot of bit smaller than her.
A lot of it.
That really says something about Roos's character, though, because she can get past the fashion and the mustache and still have a bunch of respect for him.
You guys continue your trek as you fly over the forest. You can see the mountains getting closer and closer. And as you guys are kind of planning on talking about what's going to happen and what to expect, Pine, you suddenly, in your head, you hear a voice. And it's a voice that you recognize.
Okay.
It sounds a lot like librarian, formerly Magister Colbury.
Sweet.
And it says, Jem and I found more about Almar. 2 places with ties to the ancients, Eudoxia and the Gallery. Both have ancient tunnels beneath them. And that is 25 words.
Okay. Pine will respond out loud enough so that everybody who's kind of near him will be able to hear it. And he'll say, Eudoxia, the Gallery. I understand. We stopped in Calta.
That's 8.
That's only 8 words so far? Man, I'm good at this.
Yeah, you're doing great, Pine. Mr. Verbose.
He learned his lesson when he was trying to write that one note many episodes
Yes.
ago.
You could use a word that my Texan grandparents used to use, which was used to could, which I think Jeff Foxworthy used to make fun of.
Oh, man. Well, you've got 17 words left.
Exploring the facility where deacons came from. Making our way to Almar after.
4 more words.
Any news on Silas?
As you finish your message, you get another message back, almost like it was just waiting for your response. And then it says, tread carefully. Followers of Iramil are more dangerous and militant in Almar. Organized. Lastly, Almar's true ruler is some unknown entity other than the Senate. And that is 25 words.
Don't worry. We will bust cultists' heads. Sharpening sword now. We will bathe in their impure blood and fill...
Oh, man. That's good.
Fill our furrows.
I feel like it should be more like a text, like a character limit, so you can be like, thank
Ebby.
you.
You guys all hear Pine.
Ebby is standing there just nodding vigorously during all this, like, yes, yes.
Bruce turns to Sydney. Sometimes he just like busts out in song. This is a first. I've never really heard him talk like this before randomly.
Let their impure blood fill our furrows. It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to.
And that's 25 words.
Pine is like, you remember Christopher Lee from The Lord of the Rings, the guy that played Saruman?
Yes.
Did you
Oh,
know
yeah.
that he was in a death metal
Yes.
group as like a 70-year-old man, and he was a death metal singer?
That's amazing.
so great.
Yeah, I
Oh my
imagine
gosh.
Pine is that man.
Oh, man.
So as soon as those messages are over, and Pine has basically quoted the French national anthem to Colbury, he'll find the rest of the party and explain I just heard news from Colbury. Apparently, they've been able to track down quite a bit of information. He said that there's news of ancient facility, or tunnels at least, under the gallery and under a place called Eudoxia.
Sydney nods and she goes, "Oh yes, the university. Yes, Eudoxia University."
Okay, right.
Is that where they tell people your real names?
Because Eudoxia.
Oh my god, get out.
Oh my
Get
gosh.
out.
Boo. I think Eudoxia actually may have been an empress. I think that may actually be like an empress from a culture long, long ago in IRL.
Yeah, I think it was from the Neverending Story, actually. The Empress Eudoxia.
I thought she needed a name. She needed somebody to dox her.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it comes from.
The childlike empress.
Isn't that what he screamed out at the very end before the nothing took everything? Eudoxia!
Yeah, he gets up there and he's like, Eudoxia! Yeah.
No, this is a university in Almar. Okay. Sorry. Stay on task, guys. Stay on task.
Hey, Paul, turn around and tell me what you see. That's all I can say about that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, anyway, Sydney nods though. She says, "Yes, Eudoxia University. Yes."
They also gave us a warning. They said that the followers of Iramil are much more organized in the city of Almar, so we need to be on our guard. And then to that, I think you may have heard what I said. Bravado. Lots of bravado.
It was quite the threat.
As it should be. Well, I can second the warning before fleeing from Almar to rendezvous with all of you in Tabery. That was my experience, is that the cultists that were located there were aware of my presence and actually acting to counteract me. I don't have any direct, there were no direct overt threats per se, but there was something that changed. Something was more organized, something was more sinister, and it was directly aware of my efforts to try to find and liberate whatever ormechs I could locate.
I mean, we know that Iramil was able to send a prophet exactly to where we were to deliver a message, so I think maybe we're being more closely watched than we would have considered earlier. We should be on our guard. He also said that apparently the Senate doesn't truly rule things in Almar, that he said it was interesting. Instead of saying some unknown person or unknown power, he said unknown entity is actually in charge of Almar.
That's suspicious.
An entity, as in a non-human, or as in like a cabal or some group?
Or an LLC. I don't know.
You guys would know that the city-states of Racolia, each city is basically its own nation, and that Almar, the city, is kind of their capital. It is ruled by a senate of representatives from each of the different city-states, and so apparently the Senate does not have as much power.
I mean, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's not. It's an unknown entity, actually. But if we don't visit the Senate and see some Chewbacca's and some ETs, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Will I get to talk about how democracy dies to the sound of thunderous applause?
Oh my gosh. Are we just quoting episode 2, the worst of them all?
Whoa. Worst of them all? I
Your
mean,
skin is softer than the sand, milady.
That wasn't a real quote.
It's not a real quote, but it's still, close enough. As you guys continue flying to the west, you guys see there is, it starts to get, the land starts to kind of rise up a little bit, get a little bit rockier. As Sydney is looking out, as the sun is setting and it's starting to get dark, she kind of points out ahead and she says, there's where it is. And any of you guys can make perception or investigation checks from the gunnel looking over the side of the Allele Eagle.
Pine rolled an 11 perception check.
Nari rolled a 17.
Roos got a 23.
And Ebby got a 24 perception.
Ebby and Roos, as you guys are looking over, you can see actually, it looks like there is, in the dim light, you can see what looks like a path. I was going to say well-worn, but not like an actual like dirt road, but you can see like wagon tracks moving kind of into this little gully. And they kind of turn as they get into this gully and head north. And then you can see just the faintest outline of what looks like some sort of a wooden fence or actually a wooden palisade. Yeah, go figure.
Is it a fern gully?
It is not a fern gully.
Man, we are on a roll tonight, guys. I love it.
So you can actually see just the barest kind of indication of some kind of a wooden fence or a wooden wall around this small section of the gully of this little opening in the rocks.
It's been 10 years. I don't recognize any of this. I mean, the shattering made work of everything, but even still.
Yeah, Sydney turns to you, Ebby, and she says, I don't recognize this either, but this is where it is. The whole face of the land was changed. As you are talking, then Daffodil, who I guess has been piloting the airship, comes up and says, I can get you closer, or if you want to approach stealthy, we can drop you off here, and it should be about a mile walk into that area. But it's up to you. I can get you closer.
We can do a mile walk.
We should probably try to be stealthy.
And Daffodil, can I just say that I'm truly impressed with all the additional skills that we've put on your shoulders that you've taken to just wholeheartedly. I can't.
Oh, yeah, somewhere she got like a big hat with a big feather in it and everything. Yeah, she's like all about being the captain of this airship.
No quiet quitting from you, Daffodil.
I gave her the hat from my rich guy disguise, I think is what it is.
Yes, that's right.
Can we say that her numbers are C110 and we just call her Sid sometimes?
We already have a Sid.
But we already have a Sid.
we have a Sid who's an engineer.
You do. There, guys, a little peek behind the scene, a little way back in session 0. I'm like, okay, 90s video games. Well, Final Fantasy's always had a Sid who was an engineer. I know. Dr. Sydney. There you go.
That's awesome.
Okay. So Daffodil actually, she stops the airship, and a ladder is descended for you guys to climb down. And as you guys are waiting to descend this ladder, Sydney looks at you and says, Do you want me to come with you?
Oh, by all means.
Yeah, it might be helpful to have you, someone who knows the facility.
I don't fully trust you, but I do agree that having someone with greater familiarity would be quite useful.
Roos was staring at Ebby to see if he could read him, but then realized that he's a robot and doesn't make facial expressions.
All right. Well, very good. Okay. She nods. She says, I appreciate the trust that you have placed in me. Let's go see what's left. And then she starts climbing down the ladder.
As before Pine starts climbing the ladder, he'll say to Daffodil, most likely we'll send word through Amarok as usual, so be waiting for that fuzzy little guy to come say hi.
Okay, very good. You all descend the ladder down into the forest, and it doesn't take long before you find that wagon, kind of the wagon tracks leading up towards this kind of this wooden wall that has been kind of fenced off.
Does it look like Mad Max villains fenced it off, or like it's remnants from before the shattering?
Oh, no, this is definitely new. This is definitely new construction, like since the shattering.
Is there anyone like guarding it?
From this vantage point, you can't tell. But as you guys approach, we'll say you guys get relatively close, but you're kind of still kind of in like the I was going to say tree line, but it's not really trees here. It's more just like bushes that have started to grow up here. It's still all too soon after all the calamity of the rock slides and things. you're able to kind of go from like bush to bush and from rock to, other like shrubbery, that kind of thing. And you get relatively close to to this wooden wall. It looks like it is basically tree trunks that have been cut down, and but it looks like they're all pretty much cut to a uniform height. They've been like sharpened to a point. It looks pretty well built and pretty solid. And as you get to kind of this point where you're maybe like 50, 60 feet away, you look forward and you can actually see that there are some crystals that are set in the wall that are giving off some light to light up the area around this wooden wall. And you can see that there is an opening and a wagon has been pulled in front of the opening as kind of a makeshift gate. If you guys want to make any kind of perception checks to see what else you can see, go ahead and do that now.
Nari rolled an 18. Oh, Jesus, Scott.
Roos got a nat 20 for 31.
Pine rolled a 19 and ended up with just a 23, like a chump.
Yeah, Ebby also got an 18.
Oh man. Okay, so you guys can roll perception checks like a champ, but your insight checks are terrible.
Oh yes.
Okay, so anyone who got over a 20, and especially you, so here's what I'll say. Pine, looking at this, you're got the military background, so you are very good at assessing defenses and that kind of thing. This is definitely easily defensible, and you can even hear movement behind this wooden wall. Roos, with your 31, your natural 20.
Can we say Squire peeked and then like came and whispered to me?
Sure thing. Roos, you are so humble that you are constantly giving all your good rolls to other people and letting them take the credit. But yeah, so then Squire comes sneaking back to you all like, overly dramatic tiptoeing, and he holds up 5 fingers. And so you, with your perception check, you were able to tell that there are actually 5 defenders on the other side of this wall. It does not seem like anyone has noticed you. Nobody has called out or anything like that. And you are standing here at kind of this southern, you're just outside of the light of the crystals, kind of assessing this wall and the gate that is blocked by a wagon.
Squire says there's 5 on the other side of that gate.
Do you think we can lure them out?
Have you got an idea for a diversion?
Abby usually does pretty good diversions, either burning stuff or turning into some kind of robot animal and running through town.
I'd be happy to burn things. Do you want me to burn something? I'll burn it right now.
Well, real quick, with your 31 perception, one thing I forgot to tell you, he also indicates that I was going to say that you see like the glint of starlight shining on metal, but basically Squire whispers in your ear, automatons, 5 mechanical beings, constructs.
Squire, they're called ormechs.
He shakes his head, no.
Oh, shoot. Are we going to have to fight walking anvils again?
Yes!
Those guys kept knocking me down.
But you got up again.
They're never going to keep you down.
I've heard that.
I did have a cider drink. Yes.
So Squire says that they're not ormechs, that there's some sort of other automaton like those anvil things.
So maybe less intelligent, maybe easier to trick, to confound. I'm out of ideas.
Well, there is a clear opening, but it looks like this wall, it would be scalable. The timbers are probably about maybe 12 feet tall. So, jumping up and grabbing the top is going to be hard for anybody except for probably Nari. But like the average person would be able to like toss a rope over or something like that.
What if we did, again, way back, classic Nari and the Boys, if we did some spider butt rope?
Well,
could we tell where like the entrance to the facility is? Was Squire able to obtain that info?
We'll say with the 31 perception, Squire can't just like win the game for you.
I was just flavoring the nice perception check.
It's all good.
Give Squire a sword and let him go stab everything.
That reminds me of the time, like the first time I played through Skyrim, and then you had to beat Alduin at the top of the world thing. And I had Shadowmere do it because I was not strong enough, and Shadowmere just killed him.
Nice. Are those rocks on the west side?
Up here?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like basically like it's like a horseshoe shape of rock that you can see, and then this wooden wall is kind of a semicircle sticking out. That's kind of what you imagine it is.
Does that look more easily scalable than the?
No.
Okay.
Well, so we could do some spider butt rope. Nari, I know that you don't love the whole spider butt rope thing.
I probably could jump, but I can also vibe with spider butt rope if that's the best thing. I think that we should position ourselves either in the most difficult to see spot and or closest to the facility entrance, although I'm assuming they probably have people guarding that.
I assume the automatons are probably maybe combat, but they also just may be a warning system to summon the others. So we'd probably want to avoid alerting them or even drawing them out, because it probably would just draw even more to them.
I can have Squire make it hard for them to see us. He can hide our tracks.
Sydney reaches into her bag and she pulls out a couple of crystals. She says, I've got 2 of these that, I mean, I can make 2 of us invisible. Well, 1 at a time.
I'm not very stealthy. That might be very helpful.
Well, she says, but just, I don't know what kind of run-ins you've had with scavengers in the past, but just be aware, they're butchers. And I don't just mean of people. I mean of tech. They take the tech they find and they repurpose it and they bastardize it. So whatever's on the other side of that wall, if it is tech, if it is a construct of some kind, don't expect it to be meek.
Well, what if we were to make our way up the palisade using the spider butt rope somewhere outside of view as much as we can, and then maybe I could have Amarok create some sort of a disturbance outside the fence here. If that draws them out of the palisade, then we might be able to just close the gate and lock them out.
Do they have a gate? I assume that since they were using a cart, that's the best they have.
Oh, I guess it's a cart. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a wagon pulled in front.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think that's a great idea. It'll at least give us some time.
Well, let's do it. I'm tired of waiting. I want to see what's inside here.
Squire, can you hide our tracks while we start climbing?
He gives you a big thumbs up.
I like that Squire dude.
Let's be about it. Which side do you think? Should we head off towards the left here, off to the west? Or should we make our way around to the east side of the palisade?
Back in my day, I was called the Blossoming Storm of the Western Sky, so...
Oh, you don't say. Oh, I've never heard this story before. Would you like to recount the whole thing?
So there I was. No,
So just for our listeners, just so you guys get an idea, this wooden wall is about 100 feet across is all. So this opening that is being protected is about 100 feet across, and right about in the middle is where the wagon is blocking the entrance. So it's not a super large walled-in area. And again, the wooden wall is basically a half circle that butts right up against the side of these rocks. So it's like a wooden wall that butts up against a cliff face.
Let's start climbing.
Let's do it. Ebby starts to kind of transfigure and turn into this robotics spider now as they start making their way.
Animorph.
Yeah, and I'll leave Amarok here out on the outskirts to try to see if we can't cause a ruckus somehow.
Okay. And you are going to skirt around to the west?
Yeah, that's...
Why don't you make a stealth check? Remember, you get to use the spider's stealth plus the plus 10 from the pass that without a trace.
Dope. Let's do this.
The squire's following you with like a big broom and like sweeping off the tracks.
So Ebby rolled a 33 with the plus 10.
Oh my gosh. I was just looking at the passive perception and it's like, oh, one of them's got a passive perception of 10. The other one's got a passive perception of 14. Yeah. Okay. So Ebby, you start to climb up over. Are you going on the cliff face and going over the wooden wall, or are you just going right over the wooden wall?
I think whatever looks like it'll help kind of make the an easier climb with the rope, but still be off to the side enough to not be visible.
Yeah. The wooden wall would definitely be preferable. You start to scale up over the wall. I'm going to move your token just a little bit so you get a better view. As you scale up over the top of the wall, you get to the top, and here we have Spider Ebby, who is this mechanical spider. And as you look down into this it's kind of a oval shape opening. One side, like the southern side, is this half circle of wood, and then the kind of the north side is this natural half circle of cliff. You can see down into this little gully that there is a couple of tents that are set up. You can see that on the north end, up by the cliff face, there is what looks like a recently, well, not necessarily recently, but an uncovered staircase, stone staircase that is going down into the earth. You can see there's supplies that are stacked up around, but you can also see that going around this camp, you see these strange constructs. I'm going to have Ebby, you are going to make a perception check.
Sure. Let's give it a shot.
I hate those.
Yeah, the spiders are gnarly. The other ones I almost thought were kind of cute.
They look a lot like praying mantises.
They kind of do, but they've got those cute bug eyes. No. Ebby got a 24 on his perception roll.
So what you see as you're looking down in here, you do see 5 of these constructs. They're not very big. They're like the size of like a large dog. They're not like man size or bigger. They're nothing hulking or anything like that. But you see 3 of them are moving around very similar to Ebby. They are moving around like spiders. They don't look like you, but they have like 8 legs. They are kind of copper and brass, and they are kind of just moving back and forth. And it looks like they're just patrolling this wall. The 2 other ones that you see also have multiple legs, only 4 of them. And then they have kind of this weird head. And then they have these like throwing arms, these little throwing arms. And it looks like they have some sort of a spear in one arm.
It also looks like they have some Beats by Dre on their head.
So that's the token that I found that most closely approximated the vision I had of these constructs. With your 24 perception, Ebby, as you're looking at these constructs, you look at one of these spiders that's kind of the closest to you. It's about 15, 20 feet away, and you recognize it, or at least you recognize parts of it. It looks like this spider and the other constructs in here have been made from cannibalized pieces of ormechs, of Ebby's people.
Oh, what?
So legs of these spiders might very well be sort of the 2 bones of like a fibula tibia type of a setup like Ebby has.
Oh, man.
They are basically, if you were a human, these would be like Frankenstein monsters. But because they're all constructs and you are a construct as well, they look like machines to anybody else.
So you guys might hate me for this, but I think I'm going to have Ebby do a will save right now.
No, that checks out. I was actually curious to see like if we noticed Ebby's reaction.
Well, Ebby's in spider form, so it's hard to read him. His 2 little pinkies over his anus start clicking really, really, really quickly.
I don't like that, y'all. Oh my god, there's a spider on my ceiling right now.
Oh gosh.
Are his anus pinkies clicking really furiously?
Do they call it an anus?
Anus pinkies, yeah.
I'm going back to like episode like 7. We talked about pinkies covering the hole for the butt rope.
Okay, well, anyway, Sabrina, you should kill that thing, whatever it is.
I just did. I
Good.
killed that spider and it's on my ceiling, squished.
Fantastic.
As a threat to any other spiders that might try to invade your home.
Right. So,
And-
Evie, do you want to tell me what you're about to do?
Yeah, so I was thinking, Paul, of doing a DC 15 wisdom save to see if I can avoid kind of just starting to engage and try to kill these things.
Yeah, go for it. No, that's great.
And I rolled a 23, so Ebby is able to retain his cool long enough to not, try to just fling into battle and start killing stuff.
I think, Abby, I think that one of the things that helps you make that save is as you're looking at these monstrosities, basically, you recognize that the parts that make you and that make the other ormechs actual living sentient beings, it looks like they've been left out. The crystalline matrix in your chest, you don't see where it would even fit in any of these. It's probably not. These would not be.
They wouldn't require it.
Yeah, exactly. These are not your people anymore, right? They've just been used for parts.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going to lower the rope down, and I think while that is going, I'm going to have Amarok swing out to the other side, to the eastern side, and once we're ready, I'm going to have him do some actions to see if we can't draw some attention away.
Okay, perfect. Well, then you've got the rope down and you are on top of the wall, which means now there is a way for everyone to get in. Why don't we go ahead and roll some initiative?
Did you also want us to roll stealth checks?
Yeah, I'll have you roll those as we get going with the initiative, yeah.
Okay, well, Nari rolled a 3 for her initiative, so...
Ooh, I thought I did bad. I got a 5.
Ebby got a 12.
And Pine got a 10.
And Amarok rolled a 15.
We have Dr. Sid, who rolled a natural 1. We are going to start initiative, and first what we are going to do is at this point, we're going to use the passive perceptions of the constructs. The first to go are these spider constructs, and they continue moving back and forth in their kind of predetermined movements. And the next ones to go are these other constructs, these kind of weird bulbous head ones that have, it looks like a spear.
The Beats by Dre ones.
Yes, the Beats by Dre ones. Abby, as you are looking in at them, you can see that their bodies are perfectly still. The only thing moving is their head as it moves back and forth 180 degrees, side to side. And Amarok, it is your turn.
Okay, here's kind of what I'm hoping to do. It kind of requires Ebby, I think. Oh, let me see. I need to look at exactly how this works. There's the ability for my familiar to basically use a touch spell, allowing me to use a touch magic spell through my familiar. Since that'll be on my turn, here's what I'm going to have Amarok start doing on his turn. He is just going to be over there on the far side of the tree, and he's just going to be like, "Hey-oh, I'm a human, definitely a human over here, hanging out by the tree. Just a normal old guy out hanging by this tree over here."
Is he going to sing about fishing?
Hey!
But yeah, so he's just going to start kind of causing a ruckus and being very loud as he can be. I also want him to be invisible for as long as he can be, but just causing a ruckus.
As Amarok starts to speak and make noise, Ebby, you see that the spider constructs don't change their pattern, but the two kind of bulbous head ones, we'll call them harpooners. They've turned their heads directly towards the sound of Amarok, and they don't move, but they are locked in on his location. And Ebby, as you're watching, they're looking directly at where Amarok would be, but they're looking straight like at the wall. Does that make sense? So they're aware of him. Okay. Ebby, it is now your turn. You are still in spider form.
Okay, I'll leave spider form as my, I think, bonus action.
Okay, are you on the far side of the wall now, or are you still on the top of the kind of on the top, balancing on top of the wood?
I probably will have dropped down.
Okay.
At this point.
Yeah, you will say that happened before we did initiative. No problem.
Is the butt rope still like hanging like between your cheeks?
Totally, 100%. Abby's like, dang it, every time. Anyway, he's going to go ahead and use his cantrip, Artarian's Glow. And it's a touch spell, but he's going to cast it through, like vicariously through Amarok.
Okay.
And it's you touch one object that is no larger than 10 feet in any dimension. Until the spell ends, the object sheds bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. The light can be colored as you like. In this case, it's going to be colored kind of an orangish glow, like a campfire.
Okay.
Completely covering the object with something opaque blocks the light. The spell ends if you cast it again or dismiss it as an action. In this case, it's just going to be like a rock or twig on the ground, wherever like a campfire would be.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Something giving off some light. Okay. Close by to Amarok then, I'm sure. So kind of more here on the east side, on the other side of the wooden wall.
Yeah, my hope is that I draw their attention that direction, and hopefully they go that direction, which either gives us an opportunity to sneak in or something.
Okay, perfect. All right. Pine, it is your turn, and I need, now at this point, if you're going to move, I need you to make a stealth check.
All right. So with Squire hide my tracks, I got a 27.
Nice.
So yeah, so Pine's is basically going to move up to the butt rope, 5, 10, 15, 20, and up and over the wall.
We'll say that you can get to the other side of the wall and drop down, and that's all of your movement.
Okay, I'm cool right there.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, perfect. And you can see the same thing. You can see as you move in, I mean, you are so quiet. It's almost like as you're walking, it's like Squire is like right behind you. Like every step you take, he's like putting his hand down so you can step on his hand instead of stepping on the ground.
Every move you make.
Yes, exactly. And you can see these 5 constructs as well.
I'll be watching you.
Do you have an action and a bonus action? You want to do anything?
For my action, I'm going to hold a dash, actually. So as soon as I see some of these creatures clearing out or their attention, thoroughly diverted, I am going to take the dash.
Well, you can see that these two harpooners, their heads are swiveled kind of to the south east, over in the direction of Amarok, who is continuing to say, "I'm a human. My body doesn't have that much hair on it, as much hair as it should." That kind of thing. Whatever Amarok would say.
I got sharp teeth and flat teeth, so I can eat all kinds of things.
Thumbs are super cool. Check out these thumbs, wiggling them around.
Yes, but their attention is diverted. I guess I would hope to see them move, because one of them seems to be about 15 feet from where I'm at currently, and I don't want to...
One of them is about 15 feet from you. The other one is further on, like another 20 or 30 feet from them, standing right in front of the staircase that is going down into the cliff face.
That's my turn.
Okay, cool. Roos, it is your turn. I need you to make a stealth check.
Yeah, Roos is going to do just about the same as what Mr. Pine did, climb up and jump over the other side. Oh no, I rolled really poorly. I got a 10, so then a 20 for my stealth. Actually, I'm going to do my class feature and roll a d8, and so add another 3. So I got a 23 on my stealth.
All right, and you climb up over the wall and you kind of drop in next to Ebby. You can now see these tents. You can see the wagon on the inside. You can see these constructs moving around, and that is your move. You have a bonus action and an action. You're kind of ducked. At this point, you're kind of ducked down behind one of the tents, and as you can see kind of the edges of these constructs, but you can't. You don't have a direct line of sight to them at this point. If you stood up, you could, though. Okay.
So for the rest of his turn, he's just going to kind of be scouting for the easiest path to get past these guys without having to actually fight them.
Yeah, it looks like getting past the spiders might be really easy. It's the harpooners that look like they might be a bigger challenge. They're not moving, and the one is standing right in front of the staircase down.
Okay.
If that is your turn, then Nari, I'm going to have you make a stealth check.
Okay, oh my gosh. So Nari rolled a 10, but she is also going to use a little bit of extra help and roll another d8 because that was really bad. Oh, nice. Okay, so Nari got an 18 for stealth.
Plus 10 for the pass without a trace, so 28.
Sweet.
Oh, but also you have to make that with disadvantage because you have no, never mind. You're wearing mithril now. Never mind.
No, yeah, you're right. She doesn't make a disadvantage. She's wearing not mithril. She's wearing adamantine.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's right. You got adamantine. Ooh, so go ahead and make it one more time.
Heckin' heck. That's not worse, so we're fine.
Perfect.
So yeah, I think Nari will kind of follow the same thing that Roos and Pine did, and basically just kind of hop over the fence and hold her action until something attacks her and she's where she's needed.
Perfect. Last but not least, we have Sydney. Dr. Sydney is going to make a stealth check. Oh my gosh.
Is she intentionally trying to sabotage this?
She rolled a natural 1. Let's see. So she rolled a natural.
We shouldn't have trusted her.
Natural 1. Her dex is +2. So she got a 13. So her 13 stealth check, actually, believe it or not, the passive perception of the harpooners is only a 10. So as she drops down over the fence, the harpooners are still looking kind of over in the direction of Amarok. It is the spiders that turn to face the group as their passive perception is 14. And it is, well, it's still her turn. She sees them turn to look at her. She looks back at you guys and she raises up her gun and she's like, do I take the shot?
I mean...
Oh, is she like actually asking us? Can we answer this?
Yeah, she's like, she's looking at you guys like, whoops.
Nari's just gonna shrug.
Vanish! Ninja, vanish!
You want her to go invisible?
I mean, that seems like maybe the best move. If she's not there for them to like see and track, maybe the rest of us can still eke by.
So she kind of lowers her gun real quick, grabs a crystal out of her backpack, and she cracks it, and she has disappeared. What that means now is that you have not been detected. There won't be a surprise, but they don't necessarily know that you're here. They know that something is going on. Very good. It is now these spiders' turn. So the spiders, the one closest to Dr. Sydney, comes over to investigate, and it is going to look around and see if it can find Dr. Sydney. Her spell DC is 16, but she's also got pass without trace. So we'll Frankenstein this rule and just say that her spell DC to be detected with her invisibility is now 26. As this, what we're going to call a clubber, as it looks for her. And +4, 14, yeah, okay. This spider starts to look around and starts to kind of move around the tent, kind of approaching the far side by Mr. Pine, but does not seem to have detected Mr. Pine yet, as the other two spiders kind of move over closer to you guys to investigate. And it is now the harpooner's turn. The harpooners have not realized that the spiders have detected anything, and I'm going to make just a random luck check. Actually, I'm going to have you guys. Odds, they stay put. Evens, they're going to move. So somebody roll me a d20.
That's a hard pass from me.
Ebby rolled a 15.
Nice.
So a 15, they stay put. They are still locked in on Amarok's position, but they are not moving.
Snot moving.
I did say that, didn't I?
That's fine. Sometimes your snot moves, you know?
Well, back to Amarok.
Okay, Amarok, because he's kind of got the telepathic link with Ebby, he knows that his diversion didn't exactly have an outstanding effect. So he's actually going to take, let's say that it was a stick that was on the ground, like a smallish twig that he had done that light spell on.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to delicately kind of hug it with his forearms.
Oh, that's the cutest.
Yeah, and then fly towards the palisade all the while still doing his like, "Heyo, I'm a human, definitely a human, out here."
And he's a little fox, so it's like a dog with his favorite stick. Oh, it's adorable.
Is Amarok, is the stick visible then? Is it over the side of the palisade now?
Yes. Yeah, we'll have it just over that edge of the palisade.
Okay. 2 attacks are incoming at Amarok. Actually, sorry, 4 attacks, but they all have disadvantage. So the first attack is going to be, that's a 14 plus 7, that's a 21. And the second attack is going to be only a 12.
The 21 will hit.
Yeah, that's what. Let's just go ahead. It doesn't matter. They're both going to shoot. The second one is going to shoot a 17 with the disadvantage, and then an 18 with disadvantage. So is that 3 hits?
Yeah, that's 3.
Okay. These
good grief, this might be bad.
Yeah, these harpooners, these constructs, they hurl these spears at Amarok, or at least at the floating twig, and Amarok, holding that twig, can't help but get hit. And they are going to take, or he is going to take, this is 3 times he got hit. Oh my goodness. That is going to be a total of 18 plus 20 plus 12. That is going to be a total of 42 damage. No, wait.
Oof.
No. 40 damage. No. 50 damage.
No!
Holy cow.
50 damage. Or I don't know. What happens to Amarok?
Yeah, I think it's enough that it immediately rips him from this plane of existence, and he just evaporates into a cloud of ethereal vapor.
Oh gosh. Okay, yeah. All of a sudden, this little twig falls to the ground. It's still lit up in that area, but Amarok, even though he was invisible, I mean, just, there were 4 spears hurled at him, and 3 of them hit, and he's just gone. You feel that link. I don't feel like Ebby would necessarily feel the link totally disappear, but it is definitely cloudy. It is definitely like distant at this point.
Got it. Okay.
Ebby, it's your turn.
I mean, Ebby's pissed. Oh goodness. The question is what to do about it. I think the first thing Ebby's gonna do is, I might as well. I think he's going to cast Conjure Animals and summon Phobos and Deimos.
Oh, we haven't seen them for so long.
And we're gonna drop them right kind of respectively. Let's have them actually drop next to this furthest harpooner so they can tag team that one.
2 huge dire wolves kind of appear surrounding this one harpooner that's been blocking the staircase. And do they get their own initiative? I can't remember.
They do, yeah. Let me pull up their stat block. So their initiative will be a 7.
A 7. Okay, that's actually good because then they're going to still get to go before the other guys get to go.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Nice.
Phobos and Deimos are here. Anything else that Ebby is going to do?
No,
Okay.
not right now.
Perfect. Okay, Pine.
So Pine will. Am I near Ebby?
You're very close to Ebby.
Pine will whisper to Ebby. He'll say, "Are they a distraction, or are we entering the fight?"
I think we're in this fight now.
Okay. Well, then Pine is going to brandish his sword, and he will say, "The frozen blade strikes fast and true, frigid aggression stance." And he's going to step over from behind the tent and come up toward the harpooner. He's also pretty close to one of these clubbers, but he's going to come up and take his attacks against this guy.
Cool.
So the first attack with the Tabry Ambassador's Blade level 3 is a 26 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
Unleash with precision, Swordmaster's Fury. I had the first 2, so 7 piercing, 6 cold. And on top of that, level 1 smite is going to do an additional 8 damage.
So 21 total?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And then the second attack is a 17 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, and the damage from the sword is 14 piercing, 3 cold. And let's go ahead and drop another level 1 on there for 7 additional damage.
Okay, so if my math is correct, you just did 55 damage with 2 hits.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, boy.
Show off.
And you know what? That'll. I want to get through this fast, so without raising too much alarm. So I'll say, Field Marshal, sir, I ask your aid, and toss out Koenig Zestok. That's a 25 to hit.
Where's Koenig Zestok going to go?
He's going to go on the opposite side, again, attacking this, the spear thrower. 25 to hit for 6 force damage.
Nice.
And that will be Pine's turn.
Nice round, 61 damage. Okay, very cool. All right, Phobos and Deimos are a little bit further to the east and up by the staircase going into the cliff face, surrounding this other harpooner. It is their turn.
So let's go ahead and have Phobos on the left make an attack, I think with advantage because of pack tactics.
That's correct.
First roll was a 7, but the second roll was a 16.
That barely hits, yes.
Yo, hallelujah. And does 12 damage, and then the creature will need to make a DC 13 strength save or get knocked prone.
Okay, natural 17, so stay standing.
Got it. And then Deimos will go, and again a 7, and then advantage, an 8. Oh my gosh, I rolled a 2 and a 3.
They have just been enjoying the life of not having to fight. They're all big and fat now, and like they've just been like
fat lazy dogs.
No, they are snarling and ripping at this harpooner. Okay, Roos, it is your turn.
Roos will run around the south side of this tent that he's been hiding behind and come up to the spider that's right next to Mr. Pine. Mr. Pine wasn't fighting the spider, but he is engaged with that spider. And I will take a strike out of that thing with my brass dagger.
Let's see what this thing does.
That is a 22 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
It's not undead, so it doesn't do that extra.
It is not undead.
And so I did 6 radiant damage, 8 precision for 14 damage there.
Okay.
As he strikes out, the dagger doesn't actually connect with the spider, but you see a slash of like white light extend past where he's striking, and that's actually what connects with the spider, dealing the damage.
So straight up like Final Fantasy 2 and 3, like just walking up and swinging a couple times, and the slash appears over the enemy that you're fighting?
Exactly.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Cuss.
That's right. Oh, fantastic. That's awesome. Nari, it is your turn.
All right, well, Nari, assuming that the clubbers are built better, or the harpooners are built better than the clubbers because there's less of them, is going to run up and help Pine, and she is going to attack with her axe for a 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
And it will do 13 damage.
Okay.
And then, Jesus, this guy's like really standing tall. 11 to hit for the next time.
That will not hit.
Heck. I will actually, I think, just leave it at that for now.
Okay. Sid is invisible, so you guys can't actually see where she is. I am going to just kind of move her around.
She's doing figure eights in the parking lot.
She's doing some really cool stuff, but we can't see her.
The only thing that you can tell, Roos, you can tell she's no longer standing right next to you. You can hear her move past you, but then unless you want to spend your turn, your action, actually trying to perceive her, you have no clue where she is. Okay, that will bring us now to the clubbers. We finally get to see what they can do. So here is what we're gonna do.
I imagine it has to do with like EDM and glow sticks.
That's the Ravers.
Oh.
Well, the 3 clubbers are going to rush up. One is rushing up to Pine. One is rushing up to Nari. The other one that actually Roos did attack is going to turn an attack at Roos. So here's what's going to happen. We are going to have 5 attacks at Roos.
Oh.
That's a 9, a 22, a natural 20, an 8, or sorry, a 12, and then a 22. So that's 2 hits and 1 crit.
Yep.
Okay, 2 hits, 1 crit. That will be 9 damage from the 2 hits, and then the other one will be, max damage from the crit. That will be 14 more damage. So a total of 23 damage, I think, is what that is.
I'm going to use my reaction to have Squire soften that blow a little bit. I'm going to slow down the
crit?
Yeah, the crit.
Okay. So then only 7 damage from the crit. And that means, Mr. Pine, there are now 5 attacks coming at you. And what happens is these spiders, they kind of stand up on their rear legs, and then these front limbs just kind of wham, 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 just kind of start swatting at you. So here's what they got. 17?
Nope.
12?
Nope.
14?
Nope.
8?
Nope.
18.
No.
Wow,
Mr. Pine
I love that.
manages to stave off all of the attacks. These guys, they get 5 attacks. They only have a +4 to hit. But since there's so many attacks, there's a good chance that they're going to hit you at least once. Okay.
Unless you have a 19 AC.
Oh, well, Nari, the other one rears up to come at you. 5 attacks coming your way is going to be, a crit. And then all the rest are going to miss. Okay, Nari, you are going to take only 11 damage.
Oh no. My shin.
That brings us now to the harpooner's turn. Okay, Pine, you are right in front of this harpooner. You have 2 lances coming at you.
Does it have disadvantage because it's doing a ranged attack?
This can make a ranged attack or think of this as a spear.
Okay.
2 attacks. The first one is going to be a 20, and the second one's going to be a 13.
The 20 will hit.
The 20 will hit. That is going to do 2d10 plus 4. That's going to be 19 damage to you.
Ouch. Okay.
Phobos and Deimos, each one of them is getting an attack at them. Let's see. A crit against Phobos, and then Deimos. Does a 12 hit Deimos?
No, a 12 would not hit.
Okay, so Phobos gets crit upon, which means 4d10 plus 4 is going to be 31 damage to Phobos from 1 spear.
Ooh. Phobos is a good boy and still awake. Good boy, Phobos.
Oh, man. Okay, so these harpooners can hit pretty hard, and it looks like they can take a hit as well. Ebby, you are up.
Ebby is going to use his movement to go just past Roos. I think I'm 30 feet, right? Yeah. And then I'm going to actually use a bonus action cantrip to cast Misty Step and go another 30 feet. So that way I'm about here.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and do 2 mana cannon attacks at the harpooners, the harpooner that's attacking Phobos and Deimos.
Perfect.
Or that they are attacking.
Yeah.
All right, so first attack is a 20 to hit
That'll hit.
and deals 5 force damage.
Okay.
And then the next attack is a 14 to hit.
That will miss.
Okay,
AC 16.
got it.
Okay.
And that is it for Ebby.
Pine, you have this harpooner in front of you. It looks like they are definitely falling apart. You definitely dealt some serious damage to this construct, but it is still standing. And obviously, you can see that it can definitely pack a punch. It's your turn. You've got the harpooner straight ahead of you. You've got this clubber that Nari hit. You've got this other clubber that attacked you. You are actually, there's 4 targets that you can choose from readily.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep going with the harpooner.
Okay.
And so my first attack will be only a 13 to hit. My second attack, that will be a 22.
Okay, that'll hit.
So that's really poor damage. 7 piercing, 3 cold, and I'll unleash with precision Swordmaster's Fury level 2.
Ooh.
Because, yeah, why not? An additional 13 damage, so that's 23 damage total.
Nice. This guy has taken, looks like 97 damage so far. He is definitely the worst for wear, but still standing.
Jeez.
I'm not done, because Koenig's Estok comes in with a 19 to hit and an additional 6 force damage.
Okay.
Huh?
That was not what I wanted to hear.
Okay. Still going.
It is still going. Okay, very good. Phobos and Deimos. Phobos is really hurt. Demos is still standing strong. What are they going to do?
I mean, they got to attack. So Phobos will come in with a 22 to hit. And let me see with the advantage to see if he gets a crit. Nope, 23.
Okay.
And will deal, only 8 damage on the bite attack. And then it'll need to make the DC 13 strength save.
Another natural 17.
Good grief. Okay. And then Demos will have an attack. 24. Let's see if we can get the crit. Nope. So 24 is the roll. And then the damage is, only 6. I keep the reason I keep saying that is because they get a 2d6 on the attack, and so they keep rolling ones.
What's the difficulty to keep from being tripped?
DC 13.
Oh, rolled a 14, so got a 15. So is still standing, but it looks like these are not very strong, like strength-wise, but they can definitely take a hit. All right, Roos, it is your turn.
Roos will strike out with his dagger again. I got a 15 to hit on that spider.
That will hit the spider.
Oh, cool. For 11 radiant, 7 precision, for 18 damage that time. And this time he's going to use his bonus action to strike out with the chakram from his offhand.
Okay, and which one are you going to attack? Because the one that you just attacked falls to pieces.
Then the one that's just next to that one, towards Mr. Pine.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, the one that's been attacking Mr. Pine, sure thing.
For the offhand is an 18 to hit.
That will hit.
For 6 damage.
Okay, cool.
And that'll be my turn.
Nice. Okay, and Nari, it is your turn.
All right, Nari is going to attack this mantis again.
Okay.
So that is a 18 to hit.
That will hit.
Sweet. For 14 damage.
Why don't you describe what happens to this harpooner?
It goes up in smoke. Like it kind of glitches out and then all of a sudden crumples in on itself and just a big smoke cloud goes up.
Nice. All right. Well, you've got one more attack and you've got a clubber right in front of you that's been attacking at you.
And I am going to swing at that bad boy. Heck, for 13 to hit.
That will not hit.
I think that's all I'm going to do for now.
Okay. All right. And then that brings us to the bottom of the initiative with Dr. Sydney. And you guys have no clue where she is. She is invisible and is following the last piece of advice that Mr. Pine gave her. And it looks like at this point we have 2 of these constructs are down. We've got 2 of these spider ones left, as well as this harpooner that is surrounded by Phobos and Demos, 2 of our friends that we haven't seen for a long time. And we're going to get back up to the top of the initiative with more spider constructs next time. All right, guys. Well, we're going to stop there for tonight. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this combat. It seems like something is going on here at this ancient facility, this old Imperial facility. And these scavengers are protecting something with their cannibalized constructs made out of pieces of Ebby's people. Anyway, if you like what we're doing, which you obviously do, go leave us a rating and a review. You can go check out our Patreon, join us on Discord, and until we get together next time, we hope you keep having a great time.